Hey guys, so this is going to be the second video I made for the group, and now I think I'm going to start a series with YouTube for people that are looking. So I had my second round of chemo yesterday. As you can see, my hair is basically all falled out, it's all fuzzy. I'm kind of like very Furiosa from Mad Max looking now. It's really quick to take a shower now, and for those that do get to this length and your scalp is still sore and it's like itchy and uncomfortable, I've had some people in our group recommend like a silk pillowcase, or I put a microfiber blanket over my pillow, and that made things a lot more comfortable for me. I'm now at the point where things aren't irritating me again. We'll see what happens to the rest of this big fuzz that I have left. Also, when I dyed my hair that red that I did, I stained my scalp, so for days at a time it looked like I had like this giant rash underneath everything, so it looked awful and funny. So anywho, so getting back to it, so now I'm doing outpatient chemo. My first round was inpatient, so I stayed for 2 days for my regimen, and then they released me. And then I got all my side effects and whatnot with abdominal pain and so forth. So this round, I was there, let's see, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. I was there probably maybe 5-6 hours for what I was told I was doing, and then they let me go home. So I will show you what this looks like. Unfortunately, I didn't get a picture of what the outpatient chemo center looks like, so all I can do is try and describe it, and you're gonna have to Google and see roughly what the facility looks like. But think like fancy cubicles with a chair. In my case, my chair reclined. It had heat in it, and it had like a massager, so it vibrated the chair, which is really nice. It also had a TV, a little mini TV that was on a swivel. We at our location had like a mini kitchen with a microwave. You get coffee, tea, they had stuff in the fridge, some small snacks, pantry of soup if you were hungry, yogurt, popsicles, I think it was like graham crackers and just saltine crackers. And then of course they had, if you haven't gotten this far yet, some people, depending on the chemo they get, there's a side effect where you can get like a metallic taste in your mouth as you're getting your chemo. Hard candies really work fantastic for that. So I do see people that are doing that. You're also going to occasionally hear a bell ring at the facility, which is a fantastic feeling, and knowing that, you might one day get to ring that. So that's kind of like what that environment is. And of course, your cubicle will have a number, and there's just a bunch of them all over the place. And so, like, your sides will be private in my case. It just depends where you're positioned in the room. But a lot of the times you'll see a bunch of other people. I guess I'll start with that, and then I'll get to this bag because this is the ending point. If you haven't noticed, I use a lot of ums, and my brain is very scattered, partially because of the chemo, and I'm doing this all off the top of my head. So I apologize if I jump or I talk about something and still get back to it and I don't. I'll be sure to revisit that or edit that in at the very end of a video. I haven't posted either yet. I have to go through and fine-tune them a little bit. I'm not video savvy, but anywho. So they give you your time to come into the hospital. So you go in, and then they'll check you in. You'll get like a wristband like this. It has a barcode on it. And then in my case, there was no like copays or anything. I think they're just billing it to you later, I think is how it goes. I'm still learning that part, so that'll be corrected as I go along. I have currently insurance through the marketplace, but on the 1st of 2019 that drops. So soon I will be on Medicaid, so it's a completely different can of worms. My situation, I'm on SSI and disability. So I get SSI for about 5 months, and then my disability kicks in. I guess my process to get approved was like maybe a month's time tops. apparently I think having stage 4 cancer kind of expedited my whole thing and not being able to work. So that's with that, but you need to keep on your social worker when you go to file if you decide that you are going to have to go down that road, which it looks like a lot of people are. I'm cold, so I'm going to put this back on. So yeah, you check in. So you'll be in the waiting room with everybody else. They'll call you when it's time to go to the back. They usually have an extra chair so a family friend or someone can sit with you. My facility told them that if they wanted to go out somewhere to get you lunch from somewhere or bring your own lunch, that's perfectly fine. There are questions you might want to ask on your first visit if they don't already provide that information right offhand. Once you go in, they're going to get your vitals, so they're going to check your weight, your blood pressure, they'll get your pulse, and then of course your temperature. After that, they'll take you to what's going to be your assigned cubicle for the day. And then what you'll do from there is they'll then, of course, access your port and they'll do a blood draw. Mine was done at I think it's called the Cancer Institute of Florida, Central Florida Cancer Institute. Anywho, yeah, I'm from Orlando, Florida, but yeah, so the one in downtown Orlando is the one that I use. So, so everything I'm basing this off of is what that facility does, and a lot are going to be similar and some might be slightly different, so just keep that in mind. For my first visit too, they called me to kind of give me a comb-over of things I need to know about chemo, and the nurse also gave me a bunch of information and useful pamphlets for my first visit. At that time too, your first round, they may give you a packet on all the chemos that you're getting, as well as the pre-meds to help with the nauseousness and all those nasty side effects that you can get from chemo. I noticed from last round to this round, I didn't get a really bad headache, but my abdominal pain came back. I noticed that the one that normally gives you cold sensitivity to like metal and cold objects, I didn't have that problem. On my last bag, I had a neurological issue I had in my first round where it just numbed the hand, and like my hand, I couldn't move. It was like stuck like this. It's like I wanted it, my brain was telling it to move, but it couldn't move. If you get things like that, or they're things that don't go away, or they spread and they're not improving, it's not like a couple minute episode, let them know. I had a weird encounter this time where it was, instead of my left hand, it was my right hand, and then my lips randomly went numb, and then when we got home from the car ride, my legs were all about like that. I was about to like just collapse on myself because my legs were going numb. It was weird. It was like my legs just didn't realize they were there, and I felt like I could fold into myself any given minute. So these are things I'm making notes of, so when I see my oncologist, I can let him know the side effects, because we may need to adjust things, or it might be a sign that you're building toxicity at a much faster rate than they anticipate. So make a diary of these things and when they happen. So they're going to hook up your port. So they, of course, this is how my port is. Other people can get it like their arms and that, but for this case, a lot of the cancers will get like a port like this. So mine's on the right. It can also be on the left here. Depending on your make and model, it might bulge a bit more than others. My particular one is SmartPort, and it's actually pretty MRI safe. So, forgot the units they use for the magnets, but MRIs can go up to a 5 on whatever that unit is, or they can be a 3. Mine can withstand a 3. On my model. They gave me a booklet with mine to explain what it was. They'll also have like a barcode with like a card that says you have a port. Put that in your wallet or purse or in your medical binder, so whenever you go to any place and they're going to do a scan or something like that, where you're going to get IVs or blood drawn, give that to them so they have it. Another thing too with that MRI that I had, if you want your port accessed, let your doctor know so when they put that order, it'll be there. Because I went and I just told her, oh, I have a port, just take the blood from there. But she didn't get the doctor's order to have the clearance to do it, so she would not touch my port. So I don't know if that's just their thing or if that's just a whole policy thing and that's like actual doctor order type of a thing. But can't hurt for an ounce of prevention if you'd rather have your port accessed. Otherwise, they're going to do the whole IV thing, and I've gotten to the point now where I love having blood drawn and everything through this thing now. It's so much easier. It's honestly, to me, less pain. Everybody has a different threshold. So accessing that port. The first time around, you'll see that it might be a little bit of discomfort. I usually breathe in, and when they tell me they're going to put the device in, I exhale. And then that kind of, for me, takes the edge off, and I usually look away. If I'm feeling pretty bold, I mean, I've got like tongue piercings and whatnot, so double tongue piercing, so, you know. I might look, it doesn't bother me, it just depends on the day. But, yeah, they'll access the port, and then you'll get your IV and your chemo swag, I guess is what we'll call it. And then they'll put a thing here and then a clear thing to protect it as well. When they access your port, it is very important that they are gloved up and anybody nearby, including like your guest and yourself and them, are masked up. They need to have that mask on. It's to help so you don't get contamination in that port because you do not want a port infection. I haven't had one yet, knock on wood, that never happens to me. But I've had a friend whose mother had a port get infected, and she said it was awful. So, you know, make sure everyone's doing the thing they're supposed to. You're going to see like little caps like this and that. Have them explain what they mean, because there's different colors for different reasons, and it's important to know that. So you'll have this long IV that'll string from you to like an IV rack, a double IV rack, and at least in my case it was a double. And they have two different pumps. So they're about like a soap dispenser size, big, like in the bathrooms. And they load the IVs, and there's a little cartridge on the end that goes in. So you won't get instantly hooked up. Like, they'll have the tubing and everything into the machine ready to go, but they're going to draw that blood and get it to the lab. I said this in the last video. Sign the medical release forms to get copies of those. So you know what you started out with before you got your first round of chemo. It's actually kind of helpful. Because I took an unexpected turn on when I came in for my second round. I was originally due for it on, let's see, I was supposed to get it on the 20th, but I had chemo on the 5th of December, and between the 5th to the 20th, my white blood cell count went from a 7 all the way to a 2. You're going to eventually start to learn what these things mean if you start asking questions, which I do highly encourage. The nurses are there, the doctors are there to educate you. You may not necessarily need to know what high or low means, this and that, on all values, but it'll be very helpful for you as you navigate through this and you start to learn how your body handles everything. So again, knowledge is power. But anywho, if that's another thing, I know I've probably said it last video, as you get in after your first round, you may find that your white blood cell count is way too low, so they won't do chemo. Keep in mind, there's going to be times you're going to go in for a scheduled date, and they're going to look at you and go, yeah, that's too low, we can't do that this round. We're going to have to postpone it and get that count up. Otherwise, we're going to completely wipe out your cells and your immune system, and that's just not good. It's counterintuitive. So
They will then put you on, let's see if I can pronounce it. It'll be this one or some derivative of it. Nupron. Tell you right now, get the Claritin and the ibuprofen. It will do wonders for you if you're permitted to take both of those. With that shot, your body's gonna produce an insane amount of histamines, and you're going to get like excruciating, like growing pains. Mine manifested themselves in my hips and in my lower back, and it felt like the bones had a pulse. It was just so achy. I think I stayed in bed for like a whole day the one time, one of the shots, but I had a couple of them in a row. But the allergy medicine will help with the histamines. You don't need to get like a decongestant, just a regular 24-hour Claritin or Allegra, something like that. If there's a certain one you have in mind, you can always double check if that specific brand or generic is fine as well. But they told me the allergy medicine works to simmer down the amount of histamines because that's part of your problem. So, little tidbit for those that didn't know, that are probably at some point in their journey going to encounter that. Another brand which I'm being switched to for this week, so I'm going to go in tomorrow to get that. It's called Neulasta. You can get it depending on what they decide. It's a thing that goes in your arm that injects it. Or in my case, I'm just going to go to the hospital to get the shot. I'd just rather them do it and call it a day. I don't think I really got a choice with that to begin with, but some people the ball might be in your court. So your blood work comes back. They will go over the values. If you're good to go, they'll send you off to start chemo. If they're too low, they'll usually contact your doctor and let your doctor know how you responded. And usually you'll sit around for forever and get a doctor's order, and then they got to clear with insurance and tell you how much it's going to be, or you're not going to have to worry about it because the shots are very expensive. They were able to get the Nupron from the manufacturer for free, so that kind of helped me out, and we were able to sort something out. So I was able to get those 3 injections of fun. 3 days in a row of fun. Oh boy. Hope you never have to get that shot. I honestly thought it was worse than the chemo I dealt with. But everyone gets different side effects. So this might be, to some people, a walk in the park compared to the nausea, the vomiting, loss of appetite, sensitivity to smell, and stomach aches, diarrhea, constipation. Me, I just get the severe abdominal pain. That's for the most part all I get, and then I get the random neurological thing where I can feel it coming out on this hand right now because I'm still on chemo, but my hand starts to feel like it's going out. It starts from here and goes down, and then I lose control of my thumb. My thumb is the first thing to go every time, and I joke and call them lobster hands when they go like that. Then it goes away after a little bit. So, for my people that get the green light on their chemo, now, they're going to give you your pre-meds first. Sometimes it can be 30 minutes for each of those bags. It just depends how many pre-meds they give you. So it can be probably about an hour, I think, after it's all said and done. But, again, ask every bag that they're putting in and how long it's roughly going to be. And you might, if they don't give you a packet on everything you're getting that day, make notes. That way you know. And then for your first time, do that bag of chemo, and if you feel any side effects or anything going on, make notes. Okay, when I got this bag made me get a headache, or I felt nauseous. Hopefully you shouldn't have any of those side effects because the pre-meds are supposed to counter with it, but some of the pre-meds have a side effect of headaches, so, you don't know what you're going to get until you get it. So after that, the pre-meds are done. They have a special procedure that they'll do for your your chemo. So your first round, whatever cocktail you get first, find out what it is. Note it down. It's probably going to be something you can't spell or pronounce, but, you know, joy. That's all medicine. So they'll scan your barcode, ask you your name, date of birth, and then they usually have someone with them. The person you'll notice now is wearing like this type of garb and protecting their face and their hands, and now because they're dealing with the actual chemo, which is extremely toxic, and for their job they have to really protect themselves because they don't have the cancer, so it's just all around poison. So they'll usually have the chemos in like this like tinted bag or something like that, depending on the chemo, and they'll tell like what the chemo is, the spelling of it to the partner. They'll confirm how much they're giving per, I guess, minute, like your dose, and how much of it is in there, and then they'll put it in the machine, type all this bunch of stuff in, and then you sit and wait until that bag's empty. Usually they'll tell you how long it's going to be, and at this point, you have people that nap. I have a tablet, so I hook up to the hospital Wi-Fi and Netflix. I go on my phone, I go on my laptop. Sometimes I read, sometimes I color, crossword puzzles. It just depends on my mood. Listen to music. Everybody does something different. At the end of this video, I do kind of want to tell you like a little survival guide on what to bring to help you out. I know this video is going to be really long, and I apologize for that, but I'm trying to be thorough, and I keep getting on tangents, and again, I apologize for that too. I'm also currently getting chemo, so I'm kind of like, woo, I've only gotten 4 hours of sleep. The chemo didn't, for some reason, I was just like wide awake all night. Couldn't help it, went to sleep 4 hours, and then woke back up, and that's that. And now I have a lot of things to do today, like bring this pump in, and so I can't go to sleep. So it's the lifestyle. You'll get used to it eventually. But so yeah, you'll get your bag, and then the other, however many other chemo bags you get, it'll be the same process for those. You're probably gonna have to pee a lot, drink a lot of fluids, bring snacks that you can eat. If they permit you to bring your own snacks, most of them do. I encourage it. Protein shakes. I got a brand called Premier. They are like 20-30 grams of protein, I think, off the top of my head, and just like 2 grams of sugar. So that's what I'm doing. They have like a chocolate and vanilla. I personally don't have a preference between the two, but some people say the vanilla is nasty, like my aunt. But and she totally is for chocolate for days. But again, it just needs to be your personal preference. Try and find out. But yeah, bring stuff to munch on, because you're going to be there for hours, and on chemo you really don't want to miss meals. You need to do 6 small meals a day. Try and get your protein in there. You're really going to need that protein, and you know, some fruits and veggies. You want to have some fiber intake because the chemo is going to, you know, constipate you, and definitely drink a lot of water. If you do experience vomiting, don't forget to have some Gatorade as well to kind of get some electrolytes and some salts in that back in your body. You may want to set up with a nurse practitioner that may come up and check on you, or your doctor, and see if there's some kind of a plan they can put you on to help you with your eating or on your bad days. But it's all just taking notes and, you know, talking to your doctor and having a list of questions that is really helpful on getting you guys to where you need to be. It's a really crucial key. With that said, so what happens once you finish all your chemo? They're gonna release you. In my case, I have a chemo that's 24 hours long. Let me see if I can pronounce it. I have it in my binder here. This one is the one that gets me every time with side effects. Everything else is just like a breeze, and whenever I get this one is the one that kills me like every time. So I actually had a really bad headache last night, and I just was not feeling well at all. It's the... I'm just going to show it to you after I look at the pronunciation. Fluorouracil. So this is like fluorouracil like 5, and now I'm getting a nosebleed randomly. So I don't know if this is my allergies randomly or a side effect of the chemo. I'm thinking it has something to do with my allergies. Anything that goes slightly dry, I bleed like crazy, so sorry about that. But yeah, so they'll send you off, they'll give you, in this case, like your schedule for your chemo on that, and if you have to come in for shots or pump removal, where you just give the pump back. But this is the little guy here. You don't have to do anything with him. They set him up and send him on your way. This can go longer usually. They'll give you more leash for your swag, and then you just hang it on the side of your bed or next to you. I have a lamp, and there's a little lamp, so I rigged it like an IV holder for a while, and then over there, it gets kind of tricky when you have to use the bathroom in that. I have, maybe you can reach your counter and set it there and then use your long leash or whatever to, get across, or if you're in a public restroom, you can like hook it on their door and release your length so you can reach the toilet. I don't know. You kind of have to get creative. You can adjust the length on it and wear it like a purse. So that kind of helps too, depending on your situation where you're going. But yeah, that particular medication, they ordered me to be on it for 24 hours. So that was this is the one that kept me up last night. So yeah, this is the one where I have side effects of like severe abdominal pain, and your intestines don't know whether to speed up or slow down. So you get this really painful cramp, like worse than like for the females that get the period cramp, or for the guys like the abdominal pain you can get with like a really bad stomach ache. It's kind of like that. And you don't know if it's going to be urgent to use the toilet or not. Most of the time it's not. So since this is my second rodeo and I had experiences with these type of side effects, I brought my own little heating pad with me. So when I got to the one before that one, I turned this on and put it on a low heat and had it for my stomach, because sometimes that helps take the edge off. It doesn't completely make it go away, but it made it more tolerable for me personally. And then definitely during and after chemo, you need to keep your fluids up. You're going to get really dehydrated. Things to bring. So some form of entertainment like I listed, and don't forget the chargers for any of the electronics. Usually you have access to a charger. So they have it on the wall. And your IV rack, in case you're wondering and you're like me and too afraid to ask anything, you can unplug it to take it with you to go to the bathroom to pee. I'm one of those people that won't even ask people to get up on an airplane if I'm in the middle seat to go pee. I just wait for them to go pee and just watch what they do. So, yeah, you can unhook it and go, and don't be an idiot like me that's super paranoid in public settings. You're fine. No one cares. No one's paying attention. Most are sleeping. But entertainment, your chargers, snacks. If there's certain kind of fluids you want to drink, I recommend hydrating ones, like if you have a certain kind of water. Me personally, I like room temperature water, because the one that does make you cold sensitive, it can do it to your tongue too, and like your mouth and that. So then things are just uncomfortably intensely cold. Bring some candies, like your hard candies, like maybe not mints necessarily, but like caramels or random other hard candies they have out there, like the lemon drops, or stuff like that. I've had some people recommend even Jolly Ranchers, just some kind of hard candy to suck on. If you're one of those people that get that metallic taste in your mouth, it'll do wonders for you. Those aloe infused gloves and socks on your feet are great because, again, you dry out really bad. And lotion. Aquaphor is very Vaseline-like. I have white cotton gloves, and I put the Aquaphor on my hands at night, only at night, and I just go to sleep and wear those, and my hands are soft the next day. My hands before that were getting so dry. They were getting those really fine line cracks that were bleeding, and they were excruciating, so that really helped moisturizing your face, because your face will start to get like really dry patches. You're going to want to bring a blanket. It's freezing in there usually. I have heated seats, so that helped me, but definitely want to bring your own cozy, blanket. Let's see. If you have any medications that you have to take throughout the day, I would bring those with you as well. You're probably for your first visit, you're going to get prescribed a medication called Zofran or some generic of it, which helps with nauseousness. It's for after they take you off the pump. Usually take it for like 3-4 days or something like that, and just to ward away any nauseousness that you might get from the chemo. After your first round, you for the most part know what to expect here on out. I've had certain things that kind of have gotten a bit more intensified and certain things that didn't happen. It just kind of depends on you, on your body. Chapstick. Your lips are going to get dry and cracked, so chapstick is definitely a thing. And then another lotion that I prefer is the Gold Bond for eczema. I also use that one too, usually after I wash my hands. It sinks. And then my Aquaphor is my heavy duty one at night. Cetaphil, I think, is another one. Those are for people with like eczema and psoriasis and like severely dry skin conditions as well. So you could also use that one too. And then eventually you might want a beanie because your head will not retain heat anymore. So there are some people that get beanies and wear those. Some people, don't like the look of not having hair. They don't like looking like a cancer patient, and that's perfectly fine. Whatever helps your mentality. They'll wear their wigs, or a beanie, and I'm not somebody that hides all that, so I won't do a headscarf. And I said in my last video that I'm going to be doing henna. So once a little more of this fuzz dies down, which it will probably soon enough. Right now it looks like I took it down to maybe the last razor blade guard I could get and did it, so I'm not completely like smooth skinhead bald, but I'm very, I guess, peach fuzzy. But yeah, those are things I can think of that'll help you on your first visit and kind of take the dullness away. That's also some of the things that I'm going to start doing around here for my facility and for my oncologist office if they approve it. I'm going to talk to him about it when I see him again. I don't think I'll have a problem, but I'm, for my community, rallying up donations and for like chapstick and things like that, like the gloves, like everything I mentioned, like little mini booklets for crossword puzzles and stuff, and I'm going to be putting those together for starter packs, if you will, or kits for first-time cancer patients that are new to the facility that don't know what to expect or bring. So that's what I'm doing. I just thought it might be a nice gesture to make sure that everyone's comfortable, because I've seen people of all age groups, and some you can tell it's their first time, and others have been here for a while, and they just, it doesn't faze them. It's just another day. But you can usually tell who's new, or it's like one of their first 2 rounds, and they're still, like caught off guard that they may not get their session that day, and they thought in their mind they were going to have a set schedule, and they were going to be cancer-free by this many, because they were told 6 months, and so in their mind, if they start in January, they're done by June, and that's not how it works at all. They give you an estimate, but you're going to have hang-ups and all sorts of things, so it may get prolonged, and they get confused and frustrated, or they're scared, or anxious, and you know, I just don't want people thinking that, you know, it's like work, it's a set schedule, and that's the routine, and that's when you're done. It doesn't work like that. So yeah, after your first round of chemo, you're gonna have around the 2 to 3 week mark. In my case, it was the 3 mark. I started to lose my hair. It started to come out, and in my first video, I show you how easily it just falls out. And I don't know, it was pretty fun. I was like messing around with it in front of people before that were like giving me weird looks because I had like weird hair color with like a shaved head. So I just started doing stuff like that, and they were just like, oh. So it was fun. But I am also somebody who's handling my stage 4 stomach cancer with a sense of humor. I was diagnosed November 20th, positive for cancer. The following week, stage 4. Being 28, that happens in 60-year-olds. November is also the Cancer Awareness Month for pancreatic and stomach cancer. So I saw the dark humor that is my life, and that's just life's dark sense of humor with me, and so kind of giggle about that. It helps putting things in a box. You worrying isn't going to help. It is what it is, and all you can do is put your energy into taking care of you and making the best out of the situation. So now I joke and go, oh, showers are so much quicker. I save so much money on getting ready. You know, you just got to see the silver lining. Like, I even joked and said, when the rest of this falls out, I'm keeping my mini Christmas tree out, but I want to dress up like Charlie Brown and do the little squiggle hairs and do a photo that I can maybe save for Christmas next year. You know, I'm just seeing the humor, and, you know, if you're laughing, it kind of helps everybody else around you because, you know, they're equally scared and nervous and are constantly reassuring you you're going to be better and things are going to be okay. And it gets annoying because I know that I'm going to be fine. I feel that whatever is going to be, and that is that. I have no regrets. I'm just trying to live my life to the fullest. I'm looking into learning painting and studying German because it was something I was studying a little bit, and then I just got so busy working like 2 to 3 jobs that, you know, I didn't get to practice anymore, and so I kind of got real rusty. So now I'm hoping with my spare time to sharpen that when I'm feeling sick and I'm stuck in bed. And I have friends now that I met actually this July, just when I got engaged, and then, you know, then I got cancer. I was sick with it but didn't know on that trip, but you know, I have people over there now that are helping me practice and exercise it, because that's how you strengthen a foreign language. So yeah, I have all that, and, you know, if anyone has any questions, you can always private message me, leave a comment below. I'll do my best to answer. Yeah, just make sure that you get to a cancer support group. You have some kind of support system. I find the cancer support system kind of great because it's everybody walking a path. I mean, cancer is a snowflake, so everybody's different. There's a bunch of people I know have stomach cancer, and they suffer way harder than I do. I'm fortunate. My Christmas gift, belated Christmas gift, and I guess way to close the new year. I had the MRI done on the 26th after Christmas, and I'd had my first round done of chemo, and I was worried that being postponed, the cancer was gonna, you know, take advantage of that. And, you know, you don't know, you can have side effects or no side effects, and you don't know if it's working until you get the scans. So you could be suffering, and that cocktail might not have worked. And so, no, that's like the sucky thing about it, is there's no real definitive way to know if it's working externally unless it's something visible on the exterior. It's internal, like all mine, which is, from according to my MRI, my stomach, which we knew, which was partially blocking I was borderline about to get a stomach tube put in, a gastric tube. That, believe it or not, was 3 weeks ago they were going to do that. Now I'm eating like 4 Eggo waffles in one sitting, which has never been a thing since this got really bad. And I had 2 grilled cheese sandwiches with a slice of ham and green beans, which is an interesting combo, but all equally a lot of food. And I didn't feel like my stomach was blocked and that I was going to vomit everything up and that my stomach was ready to explode. Like, it's the first time in a while. And so I kind of sensed, because I started being able to eat more and more, that things were getting better, but you never know till you're in there. So my MRI we had originally done to see if I could have a surgery at the end of all the chemo, and the deciding factor was there was a shadow on my liver, and they weren't sure if it was caused by birth control or if it was cancer that metastasized to there. Because I already had mets on the pelvic, the ovaries, and they looked at and I got the report back yesterday, and yes, it's on my stomach, which we knew. It is indeed on the liver in one spot, externally, not internally, which is great. It's on the wall. It's the same cancer that's in my stomach, the adenocarcinoma, which is aggressive and fast growing. And from what they could see, it cut off. My ovaries are indeed both affected from what I can see. So when they did the MRI compared to the CT scan I had before my treatment, they get measurements of all the tumors. I had one on my lymphatic system next to the stomach as well, which is a whole fun can of worms because he didn't want it to get to my lymph nodes or to my liver because it was going to complicate things even further. And you know me, I like to take things to the extreme, hence stage 4 cancer, and doing everything I tell my body not to do, my body decides to do. So, yeah, that's me, overachiever and overall things. Yeah, they went through and scanned all that, and they measured what it was now. So there was the shadow that was on my liver that we decided now is mets on the liver, actually shrunk. So the chemo is working. I had a mass that was 5.2 by something else. It was decent in size. It shrunk to 3.2, so it went down 2 centimeters, and I think like a centimeter in the other dimension as well. So it's responsive, and the one on my stomach definitely shrunk, and they did find measurements and confirmed that it is. So everything is starting to go down. So hopefully I can keep up this pace, and we can get better, and I hope that information I gave you guys will help you get better, or at least help answer some questions. I have no medical background, it's just everything I've learned firsthand, and I just wanted to share it. I just felt it was better than looking on Google websites that may or may not be credible for information. And I also felt that a lot of websites too are very generic on their answers when even if they are credible websites. It's just very bland, generic information, and I kind of wanted to help give people kind of a more insight firsthand on how someone's dealing with it. Every cancer is different. I have stage 4 stomach cancer, and there's people that have worse that are living off their pain medications and that, and I'm fortunate that I don't need to. So, we're all different. Some people really feel the chemo, some don't. And some people have treatments that work and then randomly stop working and they have to change it or switch to something else. So, we're all different, but I hope that, that helped at least your first visit and kind of what to expect and to bring. I'm sure I forgot something. It's whatever, but just kind of do everything off the top of my head on 4 hours of sleep, so, But yeah, today's plan is to take this chemo pump back. I named it Wilfred, just because, so it's Wilfred. It's my fashionable chemo bag. Don't have to do anything with it other than maybe change batteries, and if there's an issue, call the number on the back. Pretty easy peasy. I expect this thing to run out, I think they said at noon or 12:30. Don't know what to do then because my appointment's at 3. I'll probably panic and hit a button, I guess, off. If I can. I don't know. Or it's going to yell at me for hours. But, figure that out when I get there. It's going to be an adventure. So, best of luck, guys. You know, keep the positive mindset and, you know, ask your questions. Keep your medical binder with all your records, copies of your blood work, etc. I'd like to keep track of the blood work from the chemo as well. You don't have to. I just recommend it just to kind of watch. And then you can ask, well, why is this different? Yeah. So I have a date to get this pump removed tonight. And then I gotta go find some old medical records. I found a biopsy report that said I had a EGD done in 2016, so I want to go find that and what the pathology report came back, because they did pathology for H. pylori, and H. pylori has been linked to stomach cancer, and I'm not the typical age to get stomach cancer, so I'm, for myself and possibly to help my doctor, you know, trying to get this information to see if I had H. pylori. And if so, did they treat it and was I officially cleared from it? So that might give them another inkling to what exactly happened and how long I've been sick. So I thought that too, it might help with after I beat cancer. So, because my biggest fear is recurrence. So I'm more scared about that than what I'm dealing with right now, and like being poisoned and feeling sick and, you know, not wanting to get out of bed, and yeah. Anywho, guys, best of luck with your battles, and take it one day at a time. Keep all the sad in a little box, and just know that, you know, every day is a blessing to be here, and, you know, try and enjoy it, and, you know, if you can find another purpose, like me, to make baskets or things for people that are new to chemo, or just any chemo patient, you know, spread that love, and, you know, it makes other people feel good. It might boost their morale for their fight, so, you know, help others. That's, you know, we're all here to help each other. We're all fighting a similar battle going up that hill, so, you know, let's help each other out if we can. You know, make friends. You know, if someone looks like they might be sociable, make a friend at the, you know, get a chemo buddy. You know, there's so many fantastic people in that room. And my first visit, I met a woman who would not stop laughing. She just was so high on life, and she would say things, and she would just make me giggle. And, like, we had a shade between us, and couldn't even see who she was until I got up to use the bathroom. And, you know, there's fantastic people to meet. And you should go out there and do that. And, you know, if there's dreams or things you wanted to do now, within reason is the time to do some of those things. Learn something you've wanted to learn, or, you know, write that book, or, you know, in my case, paint that thing, or, you know, learn that instrument. You know, now's the time. You have all the time in the world to do those things that you've always dreamed and put off, and I hope that you guys do reach for those dreams. And again, I wish everybody the best of luck. And I'll stop rambling now, and I'll start to get these uploaded because I'm behind. Alright, guys, good luck.